So let's look now at our settings in more detail. Go to the Structure tab, and I'll click on the little arrow there, and that brings up our Structural Settings dialog box. Now, we're going to be looking at this tab here, the Symbolic Representation Settings. Now, what this does is it contains options that are mainly used for the graphical model and the common defaults. So things like your symbolic cutback distance, what this does is it gives the distance that Revit cuts a framing member back from a column or into another framing member in 2D views with the detail level set to coarse. So if I just cancel that for the moment, what I'm talking about here is here when you've got beams joining columns. If I zoom in real close, you can see, look, there's the beam markers there, the thicker lines, and there's the column, and you can see there's a cutback. And what this does is it allows the beam not to extend into the column. That would just look messy, hence the phrase symbolic representation. And the same connection in 3D would show the beams cut back further from the column to show a more accurate real-world situation. So if I go to the 3D view here in the project browser and go here, you can see here, look, can you see they're cut back? The beam doesn't actually go all the way in to the central part of the column there. Can you see that? There's the flanges of the column there, and the beam does not go all the way in. But the analysis representation, the orange and the blue, do, because obviously they have to join together for their loading combinations. So you can see that this symbolic representation here in our structural settings dialog allows us to display that in a way that for analysis, it just makes life easier. Things are visually much more apparent. So that is your symbolic representation settings in your structural settings dialog box.